Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Star Ocean 3. Last time we did some of this dungeon here, some of the earlier floors. This time we've done a whole bunch off screen, got up to floor 147. What was the last one we did something at? 137? 136? Something like that. Anyway, once we get to this floor, there's actually only one treasure on this floor, and it's down here. It's synthesis material, so I don't need it. And I can't carry it, but I might as well at least show you where it is. All of the other potential treasure chests are actually empty or not even there. But this one contains synthesis material, so if you're interested in that, you can grab that. We also have a new set of enemies to work with, so let's show off some of those guys. I haven't found anything of all that much interest at this point, so just on the next floor that has a boss on it. So let's go show off some of the new enemies and see if we can find a boss while we're at it. The enemies around here aren't of much note. As you can see, they die just as easily as the previous few floors have. We haven't really gotten to the difficult ones yet. They're coming. They're just on the higher levels. Those guys are probably some of the better ones to fight around here. The dragon, I would not recommend fighting. Not really any point. They can do some damage, they can break your bonus gauge, so I would kind of avoid them if possible. And for the most part, I seem to have been able to do that reasonably well. Let's see here, I need to head down, I believe? No, I do not need to go down, I need to go to the left. See if I can dodge you. I've already fought you, so I don't need to show you off again. There we go, got more of him. He's nothing to worry about. I still haven't turned that off. Anyway, let's check out Lenneth again. She always gets the same introduction. It's kind of weird. Now who are we gonna fight? Probably someone we've seen before, I'm sure. If the past things we've seen with her are any indication. Huh? Okay. Why didn't he get summoned properly? I'm confused. Okay. Yeah, pretty much. And we face Beewig one more time. Again, nothing too special about him. He's not particularly challenging. Actually, I haven't even done a test fight against him, so I'm just going off of memory here. Use a stun bomb, lock him in place, and annihilate him. Pretty much all we have to do at this point. Especially when we get through the last one. Fortunately, he wasn't really in the best spot for it, but oh well. That's better. It's nice when they get locked in position and can't do anything, because stun locking is so abusive in this game. He does have a lot of HP. There we go. Fate's tired. Anyway, from this one we get Fangs of the Wicked, and as you may presume, that is for Mr. Albel there. We'll take a look at that. Underworld. I'm not going to the Underworld, I'm heading up the tower. Can you imagine how tall this building would have to have 211 floors? I don't know, like, some of the like tallest buildings in the world. I don't know how many floors they have. Not a clue. I would assume not 211, but that's just a guess. Let's take a look at that item there real quick for Mr. Albel. Fangs of the Wicked. I would not recommend using this weapon before taking those all off. I think they just have one factor and one option for the factor, and it just removes itself, so it shouldn't be too difficult to get rid of them. Again, I'm not going to be using Albel, so I don't really care, but anyway, let's take a look at the items that I've picked up. Seraphic Garb, of course the Deathbringers from before, a bunch of berries, and that's pretty much the extent of it. An Earth Fairy, I don't know why. junk, but it's there, whatever, I guess. Alright, let's go and see if we can find a few more of the new enemies around here. Maybe they'll be on the next floor, maybe they'll be on this floor, we'll find out here in a moment. We haven't fought you yet. These guys are probably one of the more annoying enemies on this floor. Ow. And of course that's just because they're fast-ish. They're not super fast in battle, they're more fast outside of battle when they're trying to, you know, force you into a battle. But I would avoid them if possible. There's not a whole bunch of point in fighting them. There really isn't a lot of enemies on this set of floors, so unless there's anything new around here, I will be cutting out very shortly. Alright, so, well, we'll head down here. There's a treasure chest over here, I don't know if there's anything in it, but we'll take a look here. If I don't find any new enemies, there's one more. I think this is pretty much it. This is the last of the new enemies for this set of floors, and I don't care to fight them. Those guys that I just killed can go invisible, so be aware of that. Once they go invisible, they can be really irritating. And I like the fact that this energy burst seems to have like a paralyzing effect some of the time. Anyway, that's pretty much all for these floors here. I will see you again next time I find something interesting, which I think will be in a few floors once we hit 150 and we get finally get Cliff's ultimate tech. Okay, we're back. We're on floor 150 here, and finally, at long last, we can upgrade Mr. Cliff. I was gonna say Fate, but I knew that was wrong. Anyway, Max Shockwave, his best tech in the game by far. On the last floor, I think I picked up a couple of those and one of these, and got that dropped after battle, and of course I don't care about that. Alright, so new setup for Cliff. Let's get rid of Fists of Fury. Don't need those anymore. What we are going to need is Max Shockwave Chains, and they're actually something you want to do at long range. You may see the advantages of this. Having him not up close and personal means we're probably going to have to make a change to Fate here, unfortunately. I'm going to have to take off critical hit HP, Max Fury, and put on no guard so that he doesn't always get taken out. See, with Cliff up close with Fits of Fury locking the enemy in place, it's not really too much to worry about with, but when Fate's the only one who's going to be up close, it's a little more difficult. Now, the AI is reasonably good at using the Max Shockwave Chains. You just have to kind of make sure that if Cliff heads into, you know, up close to the enemy, that you control him and take him back out. Otherwise, he'll just use normal attacks since he has no techs for fighting up close anymore. Anyway, with that being said, there's not much else we can do around here. I think there's one treasure chest right here. I might as well just show myself grabbing. Well, might as well show off what Max Shockwave does. Yeah, he can finally hit MP damage, and he hits both, and he can just chain them from long range. It becomes really effective after a while. Anyway, Dexterity plus berries there. Not really anything too much interesting for a little while, so I will go through a few more floors, and I'll either see you at the next boss, or next new enemy, or next folio, or whatever. Alright, we're back, and we're on floor 156. We have a new set of enemies to work with, and I'm going to have controlling Cliff for a little while here, because Maria is really useful controlling herself, and so is Fate. Cliff isn't as great with the AI, at least not right now. Maybe he'll get a little better after playing around a little bit, but on this floor we get the substantial folio. We really haven't gotten much else. Dexterity berries and some synthesis materials, which of course I can't pick up. Emotional Torrent, I believe that's for you. There we are. And that's pretty much it for this floor. There's not a whole lot else to really worry about. There are some new enemies around here. Might as well show them off while I'm at it. Now, here we have two different things. We have Thieving Scumbags, and we have the other little girl there. Now, the Thieving Scumbags, we get Battle Trophy just for defeating, as you can see. And I'm just going to have him spam Max Shockwave at this point. That's pretty much all Cliffs is going to do. And we get Battle Trophy for defeating them. You can use the Scumbag Slayer weapons, and they have a chance of one hit killing them. And one thing to note about them is they give crap for experience, so get the Battle Trophy and never fight them again, ideally. But that's pretty much it. You know, the Scumbag Slayers have a chance at one-shotting them, but don't always do it. Other than that, that's pretty much all there is to them. They can deal a reasonable amount of damage. So, like I said, crap experience. It's like 100 experience, so I wouldn't even bother. Let's see. Anything in here? Nothing. Alright, next boss is at floor 159, so I'll see you there. Okay, we're back at floor 159, and there's only one item to obtain on this floor, and it's right here. So let's just grab that, and then we can head straight down. There's not a whole lot to this floor, really. So let's head straight across here, and we'll probably run into a boss sooner rather than later. Just wait a second here. There we are. Double check the map. Okay, we haven't seen this guy or the other guy that's there, so let's just show these guys off real quick. And not a whole lot to either of these two. Now, Max Shockwave, as you can see, does have a little bit of a charge-up time. It's not as good for stun locking as Fist of Fury, but it does significantly more damage, and it does MP damage as well, making this team one of the most effective teams for dealing a lot of damage and stun locking, even if it's not the most ideal stun locking setup. And he can just keep spamming them. If he gets, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? If he kind of does enough of them, he can, you know, if he hits the first one, he can usually stun lock the enemies in place for subsequent ones as well, until he runs out of fury. Just take a look at my levels there. Haven't really gained a whole lot of levels recently. I just recently, on these sets of floors, I can finally fight the enemies, and they're finally powerful enough that I actually can get a bonus gauge going again. So, let's just take a look there. Don't need to fight you anymore. Oh! Almost forgot again. There we go. Now we'll see who else we have to face. Oh. Apparently we fight another render imitation guy. Okay then. Now, first things first, hit him with Stun Bomb. Let's use one of those ones. And have Cliff go all out while hopefully Maria can lock the guy in place there. Yeah, as you can see, this team is very deadly with what they have. And being able to keep both or two of your party members out of the enemy's range is really effective. And that's all there is to that one. Max Shockwave chains are pretty much his best ability. And as you can see, we're really starting to rack in the experience now. As long as we have triple experience on, anyway. Before long, we are going to need to start to upgrade our weapons. Now let's just take a look at what we're dealing with right now. 57, 53, 56, yeah. And defense-wise, yeah. Still under 2,000 except for him. Fate really does have an awesome base defense stat. So incredible. But yeah, so that's pretty much all there is for this floor. I will come back next time I have some other stuff to show off. Okay, we're back. And we're on floor 169, getting us the Voluminous Folio. And most of the stuff that I've gotten, I got one Star Guard, I think a couple of Earth Fairies, and the rest have been berries at this point in the game. We get Splitting Sky, which is another really good tech for Nell. If you're still using her, that'd be something to consider, though unfortunately you get it so late in the game that it's just not built up very well. Mirror Scythe, Mirror Slice, Splitting Sky, and Divine Wrath are all very similar. They're long chain attacks that do lots of damage. Mirror Slice knocks them down at the end. I think Divine Wrath does the same thing. All of these are equally good. Which one you want to use, I'm not sure. They may not be equally good. I'm not 100% sure. It's been a long time since I've used Nell this late into the game, just because it takes too much time. There's so many skills that she has that are quite useful, so it takes a while. I think technically the most damaging spell in the game can be Whirlwind, but you know, how often can you use that? One thing we did not check last time, and I can't check it that way, so let's the Hybrid Helm. Yeah, this one is for Roger. Now, interestingly enough, this has something of interest. Enemy attack plus 30%. Now that has two options. One of them will turn it into enemy attack plus a certain percent and increased full by a number of times, eventually capping at attack plus 100% and full times 10. Now, there are 3 items, all of them ultimate weapons, that can do this. Roger's, Maria's, and Fate's. None of the last 2 of which we have not gotten yet. Now, the added advantage to having this is you can earn a lot of money really fast if you plan on mucking around with weapons any further. I have a reasonable amount of money right now, so I don't need to. I'd almost say it's more effective to just get by the Santa's boots, and then if you have a turbo controller, to just leave it on for a while and gain your money that way. Considering how lucky I happen to get on this playthrough. But if you do want to do this, you don't really want to sacrifice someone's ultimate weapon to do that with if it's a character that you plan on using, and considering the fact that you're very likely going to use both Fate and Maria, you know, if you have Roger, all the better, use his weapon, but I don't have Roger, so I can't really do that. Now, the other option is to make use of loot item. And the reason why you want to do this is because these ultimate weapons are only dropped by one-time only bosses in this area. And these bosses are, of course, like the one we just fought on whatever the last floor was, 170? Yes, I think. No, we're on 169, so would have been 159. Next one's on 170, hence why I'm kind of starting to record here. And you can use loot item, and if you build up the tech enough, which is basically steel, by the way. Let's find that real quick there. Sure it's up here somewhere. There it is. Once you get it high enough in terms of level, it will actually have a somewhat reasonable chance, but it takes so long to level up that it's just not worth it. Now, I would recommend you unequip someone's weapon and most of their accessories, or potentially equip like a really weak weapon with fire added to the elemental, and then go to the Ursal Lava Caves and fight the fire guys. And the way that training loot item works, and it's really, really time consuming, and I've actually done it to an extent before in order to get 2 of the ultimate weapons, which is the ideal goal, is to fight these bosses that you can only fight once. They guarantee to drop the item, but if you use loot items successfully on them, you'll successfully steal one as well. So you can have 2, one as your ultimate weapon that you're going to power up, and the other as a money-making weapon. Now, if you want to do this, like I said, I suggest going to the Ursal Lava Caves with low attack power, and the only time you train it is when you knock the enemy down. So certain things knock enemies down. Fate's long circle attack knocks them into the air and they hit the ground. They're down. Things like Whirlwind, Nell's Whirlwind tech does that as well. I tend to use Fate for it because it just seems to be more effective. Basically, you want to be able to deal next to no damage to the enemies so you can stay in the battle for long periods of time, because if you're just going full power, you're going to annihilate them before they even hit the ground, and you'll never have a chance. You'll hear a ting or a ping or something like that when you down the enemy. That is one way of gaining money if you so desire. It'd be really fast once you get to that point. Unfortunately, it takes so much build up that it really isn't worth it. I've done it before just to kind of see what it's like, but that's about it. Anyway, with that explanation at hand, let's show off the new enemies here, which, again, the single enemies, the big ones, don't seem to be all that challenging at this point, and they give crap experience. So I would not recommend fighting them for experience. I've been bypassing most of them. I think this is empty. Yes, it is. And on these sets of floors, we have new enemies. These two. And I'm just going to kind of annihilate them with lots of attacks over and over and over again. Max Shockwave does have a pretty big area of effect, so you actually get to hit a couple of enemies even if they're not like right next to each other.
Wait a sec. I'm not getting too strong.
As you can see, my levels are starting to go up quite quickly with triple experience going through this area. These enemies really start to give the experience at this point. Now, who else do we have? We've already seen you, though. They can be paired with the other guy I'd like to show off. No, I already showed you off. Now, is this the one room I'm thinking of? It is not, so I don't need to show you off again. Where am I here? Alright, I went the wrong way. Oops. Should have gone, that's the way I want to go, I believe. Yes, there we go. One more enemy. I think there's only one other one around here. These guys are not worth fighting, just as they were before. They tend to avoid damage really easily, but they don't have a lot of HP. They also don't give a lot of experience or money, so I would not recommend fighting them. Now, this should lead me forward to the end of the area. Final new enemy for these set of floors. Not that they're of any interest, they're really slow, so I would recommend fighting them because they're so slow, they die easily. They come paired with both the angels and these guys, and they give you a reasonable amount of experience for annihilating them rather quickly. Alright, so with that being said, I think I've kind of run a little bit over time, so next time we will be continuing to the floor actually directly above us, which makes life a little easier. And we will take on the next boss of the next floor here. So that's all for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.